So I would like to welcome you all to this session. It's possible that more people join us, but I think we can start slowly. My name is Joana Oliveira. I'm from the Portuguese Yoga Federation, and I'm a volunteer in the EUI. First of all, let me introduce you this organization. The European Union of Yoga was founded in 1971 by Gerald Ritz and André van Lisbeth. It is EUI's mission to be an outstanding organization promoting and protecting the essence and authority of the teachings of yoga, as well as upholding the spiritual maturity of yoga training in Europe. Today it consists of 23 federations across 14 countries. Every year, the EUI organizes a yoga congress in Zinal, Switzerland, in August. I invite you to check the EUI website for further information and to start to plan your visit to Zinal. This year, the theme of the congress is Abhyasa and Vairagya. I also would like to introduce our speaker of today, dear Karin Svitakova. Karin met yoga at the age of 13 through her father, Geza Timcak, and since then she has practiced mainly under his guidance. She has grown up surrounded by the amazing atmosphere of sharing and friendship within yoga communities in Hungary, Slovakia, and Czechia. Once her 3 children had grown up, she started attending the yoga teacher training with the Slovak Association of Yoga, so she is also a yoga teacher. She travels regularly to India for further studies. Today she is with us for sharing the Granthi Sadhana. Thank you very much, Karin, for joining us. I wish you all a very good session.
Thank you, dear Joanna, for this lovely introduction. And welcome, everybody. I'm happy that numerous people made it to this session on this rather freezing Wednesday afternoon or evening. I will start sharing my screen because I prepared a presentation for you. So I hope you are able to see it well. Joanna, please signal if anything stops working or if you do not see or hear anything.
Okay.
Then I will try to correct what went wrong. So as Joanna already mentioned, I represent today here not just the European Union of Yoga, but its member, the Slovak Yoga Association. And I brought this workshop to you more or less to repeat and to build on what I taught in Zinal 2022, but I'm fully aware that many of you may not attended this congress where I was teaching, and that's why I would like to give an introduction to this topic as well. First of all, I will give you a little bit of theoretical background so you understand what is going to happen later, what we are going to practice. I will also give you a couple of suggestions, what asanas to use if you would like to deepen your perception of the areas where the Granthis are located. And then there will be more or less half an hour to practice the Granthi Sadhana itself and practice those mantras and those pranayama that is part of this practice, this technique. Now, how I came across of this technique. I learned it from my father, from Geza Timcak, and from Ivo Sedlacek, who developed Savita Yoga. Savita Yoga is a way, a combination of many different transformational practices. And the foundation of this direction was inspired by Mahasvitadhata, who is a yogi in India. So I would like to thank these people, all of them, Mahasvitadhata, for his inspiration he gave to Geza and also Ivo. Geza is a yoga teacher. He has been teaching yoga for almost 50 years by now. And Ivo Sedlacek, he's originally a violinist, a very good musician. And so the specifics of Savita Yoga is the combination of live music, inspired live music, and yoga practice, in most of the cases, transformational yoga practice, transformational techniques. So now you understand where this comes from. I learned it during all those Savita Yoga workshops we have regularly in Prague and also in other cities. And now let's try to understand the name of this practice. Sadhana is a word you are most probably familiar with. Sadhana means nowadays practice. Originally, the meaning was slightly different. It meant just a seat or a seated position, but nowadays we call almost every type of practice sadhana. But what does Granthi mean? Granthi means knot or blockage, and it can be understood in many different ways. For example, the Advaita Vedanta says that this earthly life, the whole life, is a Granthi. And they say, as long as you do not complete all the tasks or your mission you have here on earth, you cannot get released from it and you cannot go. But also blocked nadis can be considered granthis because the nadis are channels where information and energy is supposed to flow through the body. So they are part of the subtle body, of the energetic body we have. And if there is a blockage, obviously, information or energy cannot flow. And it might have a similar effect as the three granthis we are going to talk about more in detail just a bit later. As long as someone just lives an ordinary life, goes to work every day, feeds their children, washes the laundry, and so on, and does not find the possibility and the time to practice yoga, more specifically, more intense practices like pratyahara, dharana, or dhyana, those people are usually just underneath the level of the Brahma Granthi, and they are. Yes? Is there a question? Okay, it does not seem to be the case. I forgot to mention, and I will use this opportunity of this little disturbance to tell it. In the case you have questions to the practice of what you should do and how you should do, there will be a short time reserved for this before we start practicing so that you will have clarity on what to do, what exactly and how to proceed. Okay, so now I think we can continue. Everybody is muted again. And let's continue explaining what Granthi Sadhana is. So now we know that the Granthi is a knot that does not allow information to flow, or it does not allow consciousness to rise. And this practice, the Granthi Sadhana, has the aim to open or release these blockages and become or make the granthis possible. not possible, but passable, like that something can go through them. And it does it in the combination of special mantras, breathing techniques, pranayama, and then always a short phase of reflection or meditation. Our three Granthis have names. You for sure know these three gods from Indian mythology, that there is Brahma, the creator, whom you can see on the right, then that there is Vishnu, the preserver, and also Shiva, the destroyer, on the very left of this little picture. And indeed, the first Granthi is called Brahma Granthi, and the second one, Vishnu Granthi. Well, for the third one, we have to rather think of a specific aspect of Shiva, because that is called Rudra Granthi. But basically, the naming of these three Granthis follows these three deities we have. The location of the Granthis is as follows. The first is located in the Muladhara chakra. The Muladhara or root chakra is the first chakra that is right above the pelvic floor, just a couple of centimeters above. The second, the Vishnu Granthi, is located in the Anahata chakra. Now, you cannot see, but it's right behind the center of the chest bone. And the Rudra Granthi is in the Ajna chakra. That's the sixth chakra. And it is located inside the skull. You can imagine it's in the very center, at the point where these two lines meet in the skull. Every person has these three Granthis. They are built into our system. And you may ask yourself, why? Why they are there, and why we have to invest some time, effort, and energy in releasing them. Well, their function is basically to protect us practitioners from experiences that would be too intense, too strong, that would just simply blow us away, because not everybody is prepared for strong spiritual experiences. And so that's why the Granthis are here, to protect us, so that we really have to work through them, make them possible, and only then they allow our consciousness to rise to higher levels. Here you can see, for the people who rather tend to remember things based on images. So here you can see where the Granthis are located in the human body. But not just that. On purpose, I added those little yantras, which are linked to these three chakras. And only these three yantras of these three chakras contain something that connects them, that is common for them, and it is a lingam. Now, a lingam is a symbol for consciousness. And so if someone would like to, if someone reads those texts, then this is a hint that in these locations, something can happen that can allow to change the state of your consciousness. And this is exactly what we are aiming at. This is a depiction of the whole process of the Granthi Sadhana, of this technique. We tend to read from the top to the bottom, but here, please make an exception, because as you saw here, that the Brahma Granthi is in the bottom, is in the first chakra, then the Vishnu in the middle, and the Rudra Granthi in the skull, I decided to organize this slide according to the location of the Granthis in the human system. And only this big yellow arrow is supposed to tell you, and also the numbers are supposed to indicate that basically we have to start at the bottom and we will end at number 9 at the top of this chart. Every Granthi has a patron. They don't just bear a name of a god or a deity from Indian mythology, but these deities are their patrons. And that's why for every Granthi we will repeat 3 phases, reciting the mantra that is supposed to address this deity, this patron of the specific Granthi. Then we will do a rather intense breath work. We will come back to that later. And then the third phase for every Granthi will be a little reflection so that we can observe what's going on in the body and in the mind. Obviously, you will be curious to know where you are in this whole process, in going through these 3 stages. So if you will sit down, close your eyes, and your mind will be full of thoughts related to your everyday tasks, related to deadlines, related to things that you forgot and have to do. That is a signal for your system still being below the Granthi, the Brahma Granthi. This means that the Brahma Granthi is not yet open. First, using the mantra and using the breath work, we have to let all these thoughts go, relax from them, release them. And only then the Brahma Granthi will open and let us go higher. Then it may happen that your mind will be full of feelings, that you will deal with thoughts about whom you like, whom you dislike, or what you dislike, that you felt hurt because of this or that, and if you will forgive or not forgive to someone. And as long your mind will be kept busy by all this, you will still be just underneath the second Granthi, the Vishnu Granthi. If you manage to let this go, the second Granthi will open as well, and you will be allowed to go 1 level higher. The third Granthi, until it's closed, will offer you special experiences. Some people say, oh, intuition, or some people say, oh, you can experience things like siddhis. But this is still not the final goal where we want to get. We have to release also this. It might be very exciting, completely new, and we for sure will have for some time the tendency to explore this deeper and further. But once we understand that we really have to release also this part, the way will open up for us towards the Satchit Ananda. Now, I would like to invite you to a little practice, because the first 2 Granthis require sometimes a little bit of asana practice so that one can better perceive the location where they are, the region in our body above the pelvic floor. These are just two examples I would like to show you to inspire you. You could either practice now the Janu Shirshasana or the Kalyasana. And by putting your awareness into the area right above the pelvic floor in either of these positions, you might be able to find the Muladhara chakra, which is quite important in order to practice the Granthi Sadhana properly. If you find these two positions too difficult for you to do, there is a very simple position and solution as well. If you just roll a blanket together and put it underneath the pelvic floor and try to observe the touch in the center of the pelvic floor and follow the feeling just a little bit above inside the body, you will also find the Muladhara chakra. So now I would like to see you. Yeah, most of you have your cameras off. Nevertheless, I believe that you are trying one of the two positions or the third easiest one to find the Muladhara chakra in your system. I think I'm not saying anything new if I just want to emphasize that chakras are not inner organs like the lungs or the stomach or the intestines. They are part of the more subtle body we have. And so you will never find an organ in the body when looking for a chakra. It's rather a place, a spot where energy is distributed into the whole system, specific types of energy. And chakra actually means a wheel that's turning, because that's how it feels sometimes. If you really find and are able to feel and observe the chakra in the subtle body, it very often feels like a wheel that's turning. Okay, very good. So I think slowly, you can release the posture and relax from it. And just stay either sitting or sitting on the heels. And for a short moment, just focus to the area of the Muladhara chakra, so that you will be able to find it also later on, anytime, whenever needed. Perfect. So I think we can move on to the second Granthi, which is in the fourth chakra, in the Anahata chakra, in the center of the chest. And I'm offering you these two positions now. Oh, sorry. Either you can practice the Ustrasana, where we are really opening the chest very, very widely, or the Ashtanga Namaskar, where we also open the chest and at the same time also use the touch of the mat or of the ground to make this observation even easier. So I would like to invite you again to do one of these two poses and focus your attention in the center of the chest. And find the chakra, the fourth chakra, the anahata. Sometimes chakras are just warm. Sometimes you can feel them as some spot that's where there is a vibration. For sure, it is located just in front of the spine, so don't look for it in the front. It should be close to the spine, in front of the spine. Very good. As far as I can see, you have practiced the position, at least those who have their cameras on. So you can return now into a sitting position and just observe for a short while the chest area, especially the center of the chest. Fantastic. So I hope we can proceed now to the third Granthi that is in the center of the skull, in the sixth chakra, in the Ajna chakra. It's not so easy to touch or press that part of the body. Of course, you can always touch the forehead. And what we are going to do is a practice called Bhrumadhya Bindu Dharana. And with the help of this practice, we will be able to let our attention slide inside the skull. So what we need now is sitting in an upright posture with the spine straight as possible, also the head straight, maybe slightly pushed to the back. And if you do not exactly know where you have to look for the Bhrumadhya, you can touch this point between or slightly above the line of the eyebrows in the center line of the forehead with your finger. And this touch, if you are really touching the right position, not just anywhere on the forehead, it will give you a feeling that will go inside the skull. Okay, so now you can close your eyes, and the task will be with every inhalation, our focus will move from the point of the Bhrumadhya that we have touched a minute ago, outside, in front of the forehead, 2.5 centimeters. And then, while exhaling, we will move the attention back to Bhrumadhya and then move inside the skull, again 2.5 centimeters. Well, no need to measure it exactly. It's not a task for engineers. It's rather for you for a better orientation. So it's not half a meter, it's not 10 centimeters, it's really just a very small distance. We are going to move our attention with every inhalation a little bit in front of the forehead, outside of the head, and then whenever we start exhaling, move back and continue a little bit inside of the skull. Let's practice this now for a couple of minutes. And now with the next exhalation, just don't stop and let your attention slide, continue, move into the center of the skull. And there you are. You have reached the Ajna chakra. And again, if you inhale, then get back to the original movement a couple more times. And with the next exhalation, you can again let your awareness slide towards the center of the skull. And then, while inhaling, get back to Bhumadhya, to the forehead. Very good. We can relax now from this practice. And open the eyes again. So now, maybe I should ask first, have you succeeded to perceive the first chakra, the Muladhara? Can you please raise your hand or at least give the sign uh, in the, how are they called, in the feedback that you raise your hand virtually, if you manage to do so. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I can't see more. Maybe 4. Okay. And the people who don't have your cameras on, can you please at least give me a thumbs up? Yes. Okay, perfect. Good. Okay. Okay. I hope the rest managed as well. What about the second chakra, Anahata? Oh, lovely. Good. Two more. Fantastic. Good. So what about the second Granthi in the fourth chakra, Anahata? Please, again, raise your hand or give a thumbs up if. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there are two people in one. Oh, wonderful. Lovely. Good. Now, what about the third one? Who succeeded in getting there and observing there something? Mm-hmm. What's this? You can unmute yourself if you would like to share something, because I don't quite understand the
Not sure.
sound. Not sure. Hmm. I see. Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, somebody.
I don't think I will. So yeah, maybe.
Oh, yes, Atul, please go ahead.
Yes, I was saying I don't think I succeeded. I think I wasn't very clear if on inhalation you go inside or on exhalation you go inside.
As I have it in the slide, with an inhalation, you go outside, and then maybe for the 10th time, if you go inside with an exhalation, you just relax and let it happen so that your awareness goes until here into the center of the skull. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear with my explanation.
Hmm.
Hmm. And Joanna, you also wanted to share something? No, okay. Yes, Atul, sorry.
Sorry. So it's like from the center of the eyebrow, you just go straight inside 2.5 centimeters. That was the. Is that what the arrow means?
Yeah, so first from here, while inhaling, you go out a little bit.
Oh,
And then
okay.
when you start exhaling, you get back and continue 2.5 centimeters behind the forehead. And then you
Okay.
again
Yeah.
inhale, go out, exhale, go inside. And then when you have done this, maybe 10, 15, 20 times, when you feel
Yeah.
like that, okay, now I can let it go. So then while exhaling, you just continue and you let it happen. And then you continue this movement and end up here somewhere in the center of the skull, where
Okay.
the
Okay.
ajna should be located.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification. I will try again later. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. Okay.
Karin, I was about to say that I felt a lot of hot. I don't know if it's normal because usually I don't feel hot here. I feel hot in the lower chakras,
Mm-hmm.
and also a kind of pressure. I don't know if it's normal or not. So, but the hot for me
Mm-hmm.
was very strange, I think.
You are completely right because to a certain point when energy rises, it can be hot, it should be hot, but from this level approximately, it should turn into cold. So when you will do the intense breathing, I suggest you narrow down the the throat a bit so that there is less energy rising.
Thank
Because it might also cause headache if you let it go too intensively. So really be cautious there.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. So do we have more questions or was this clear so far? Okay. looks like we do not have more questions, so we can go and try to find a way of intense breathing that will allow to cleanse those chakras and those areas where the granthis are located. Usually, we use Kapalabhati, which is actually not a pranayama. It belongs to the Shatkarmas, but it is a breathing, a type of breathing that's more intense than our usual breathing. And it consists of a very fast and intense exhalation. Sometimes I say it is as if there would be something disturbing you in the nose and you would just want to get rid of it, like a little fly or a mosquito or some little insect in the nose, and you do like this just to get rid of it. And this intense exhalation is done with the belly. A more advanced version says with the lower belly only, but I think it's fine if we manage to do it with the belly. And the inhalation just happens. You just relax, and by relaxing all the muscles that you contracted in order to get rid of the air, so when you release all the contractions, all the tension, inhalation will happen. So are you familiar with Kapalabhati, or is this technique new to you? Please raise your hand if it's new to you. Then maybe we will. Okay. Okay, fine. So let's give it a try first. I would suggest to put one hand. Okay, I will go just a bit further away. Try to put one hand on the chest and another hand on the belly. I hope you can still hear me, even from the distance. So now this hand on the chest should remain more or less without motion, while the other hand will do a quite fast movement. Okay, you do not need to see my head. So by expelling the air and relaxing afterwards, you do, it's quite loud actually. So you do a quite fast and loud breath work. I don't know if you can hear the sound I'm making. It just happens. It's not like intentional extra sound. It is just a sound that belongs to Kapalabhati. This is how it should sound. So what you can hear is only the exhalation, and the inhalation just happens without any special sound effect. You just relax and it happens. And now, if you have zero experience with this, then obviously you will have to start a bit slower and find a rhythm that will allow you to do this for 3 or 4 minutes. So whenever you increase the tempo, you go too fast, you may end up having the feeling that you don't have enough air. We do not want that. We would only like to have an intense breathing that helps us to stir all the energies around the chakras where those granthis are located, one by one. Okay, so let's now try just 2 minutes of Kapalabhati, or even 1 minute, just for you to try and to find your rhythm. Okay, very good. We can relax the breath now. So, did you succeed in finding a way how you will be able to go on with that for a bit longer? Is it working as it is supposed to? So your chest rather calm, your belly moving. Okay, Christina, thank you for nodding. Wonderful. Okay, good. So I think that we now have all the knowledge, all the theoretical knowledge, and even a bit of the practical experience we need in order to start our practice. So I would like to invite you to sit now, ideally on a cushion or on a mat, in a way that you will be able to keep up a straight and erect spine. And now these are the steps we will go through. So the first Granthi, mantra, breathing, reflection, and these 3 steps for all the Granthis. What I haven't mentioned so far more in detail are the mantras we are going to use. So here, let's maybe read them out loud, everybody for yourself. I will do it, and you can just try 3-4 times in the same way as I do it. Om Namo Brahmane Namaha. Om Namo Brahmane Namaha. Om Namo Brahmane Namaha. Om Namo Brahmane Namaha. Yeah, this is how the first one should sound for the Brahma Granthi. The second one is a bit longer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. And the third one has a slightly different melody. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Okay, so let me now ask if everything sounds okay with the mantras, if you are able to follow me there. If you have a question or problem, can you please raise your hand? Good, everything seems fine. I will always keep the mantra on the screen that we will be practicing. So we can now, well, of course, once you will be okay with the mantra, you will know it by heart, you will be able to close your eyes. But for this little introductory focus, we all can close our eyes. Now let's find the Muladhara chakra again. The root chakra that's just a couple of centimeters above the pelvic floor. And while keeping our attention in the Muladhara chakra, where the Brahma Granthi is located, let's start reciting the mantra. Om Namo Brahmane Namaha. 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 And the last one. Om Namo Brahmane Namaha. And now, while keeping our attention in the Muladhara chakra, we will intensify the breathing, and I will give you a bit of music so you can find a rhythm based on that. of all, we can relax the breath. And while keeping our attention in the Muladhara chakra, just observe. Now, let's move our attention from the Muladhara chakra to the location of the Vishnu Granthi, which is in the Anahata chakra, the fourth chakra, in the center of the chest, right behind the spine. And let's now start to recite the mantra related to the second Granthi together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 And the last time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And while keeping our focus still on the Anahata Chakra, let's intensify the breath now. Now we can relax the breath and just observe the area of the fourth chakra Anahata, where the Vishnu Granthi is located. And now let's move our awareness to the third Granthi, to the Ajna chakra inside of the skull. And we will start reciting the specific mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. 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 And the last time. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. And now, keeping our focus still in the sixth chakra, Anahata, we will now intensify the breath. Now we can relax the breath and while keeping our focus still in the Ajna chakra, let's just observe for a while what's going on. And now we can slowly deepen the breath again. Become aware of the whole body. And then gently open the eyes. And here we are again in the group. Now I only have my very last slide to share, which are the sources. But I guess you might be rather interested in asking questions or sharing your experience. So we have 9 minutes or even more if you wish to do so. So feel free to share, to ask. Just unmute yourself.
Karin, I have some practical questions.
Mhm.
So the first one was, how many times do we repeat the mantras? Is it always also the same number of times for all the Granthis?
Mm. You can, of course, practice this also using a mala by counting them. But for my practice, because I probably forgot to mention that this was the theme for my thesis as yoga teacher, and in order to be able to compare what's going on in the mind and how the brain waves behave, I developed a rather template depending on the time. So I used a little bell to give myself signals. Well, I recorded it, so it went automatically. And so I rather kept it based on the time than on the number of repetitions. So
Uh-huh.
now we had 4 minutes of mantra repetition, 4 minutes of breathing, and 2 minutes of reflection. For my
Oh,
work, I used 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and 4 minutes.
mhm.
But that's up to you, how you define the goals and how you would like to approach it. But it's a
Mm.
very good question, very valid one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I also have a technical question, if that's okay.
Sure.
I find the Kapalabhati breathing very much stimulates my head, so my forehead and the top of my head. So I find it really difficult to focus on my Muladhara or on my Anahata chakra or on the Granthis in the center of my chest or in my pelvic area after having done the Kapalabhati. Is there another breathing I could try for this practice?
You can also try Bhastrika, but I suspect that's going to be even more intense because there the volume is much bigger and there is much more bodily work involved.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, you can give it a try, or you could try to make your Kapalabhati more subtle. Because as long as we invest lots of effort into doing the Kapalabhati, into moving the belly and all the muscles, it really tends to generate lots of heat and maybe moves our focus to locations where we actually do not want to have it. So we need to get trained in Kapalabhati so it runs automatically without any effort, basically. It just has the purpose to stir the energies that are located in those chakras. And if it really goes on based on autopilot, more or less, the Kapalabhati, then we can work with our focus and direct it elsewhere.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more observations? No more questions, no more observations.
Sorry, I wanted to just say, I think it's a really
Yeah.
beautiful practice. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have to say, I fell in love with this practice when I first did it, or maybe for a second time. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. And it was because of the reason that, I'm a Gemini, and I really have my mind always very busy dealing with different things. And in the beginning, it was very hard for me to focus for a longer period of time. And this practice gives you, for every Granthi, 3 well-defined things you have to do for a short period of time. And I was able to learn focusing using this technique, like first the mantra, and then the breath work, and then enjoying the fruits of the effort. And that's why I thought that it might come handy also to other people with busy minds who work hard all day long, but still they would like to get down, calm down, and practice some meditation in the evening after their busy day. So this could be one of the ways how to achieve this.
Can I ask more questions?
Sure,
Okay.
go ahead.
If you use this as a sadhana, what should be our aim? Like how many days should we aim it in the beginning and then maybe take a break and then again? Or do you have any pointers for that?
Hey, yes. When I did my thesis and worked on that, obviously I had the feeling that I don't have enough time, and I felt under time pressure. So I practiced it every day for a period of, I think, 2.5 months. And I felt under pressure, not just under time pressure. I had the feeling I really have to achieve something using this technique. And obviously, this is wrong. So, this is not the right approach, that you go and want to see results, want to have tangible results. The results, in my case, came a year or two later when I came back to this practice. So it brought its fruits, but not in the very moment when I was expecting it, when I wanted to write down the results into my thesis. Yes, there were some results, but that interesting experience of feeling like my energetic body getting empty around the first Granthi, and then in the area around the second Granthi, which was really very weird, and the state after was very different from our usual state of mind. That came much later. So I encourage you to try to practice on a regular basis for some time, even daily. But yeah, basically abhyasa and vairagya, right? So don't try to cling on some expected results, because that would just block you from achieving it. Do it and observe what's going to happen. Then at some point you would see the results.
Okay, and should we also increase the time that we practice or should be the same always?
I find half an hour for this practice more or less ideal. You can experiment with it.
Yeah.
But it is always good if you try to extend it to 1 hour. Of course, it's also possible. But make sure you divide the time that you want to dedicate to it more or less evenly to all 3 chakras or granthis, and also to the parts of the practice, of the steps evenly. So you have enough of the mantra repetition so that you really address the patron of the Granthi, that it starts listening to you. Oh, okay, something is happening there. And then use the breath to move those energies which might have settled down long ago, and then enjoy the fruits. So these three phases for all three Granthis have to be present in more or less equal portions.
Okay. It's important that the repetition of the mantra is loud, or can it be silent also?
Yes, also a very good one. Yes, it can be silent,
Yeah.
but I find it better, especially in the beginning, to do it aloud.
Okay.
Because here we work with parts of our subtle body, and they react stronger if we really recite it aloud, so that the effect is stronger.
Okay. Lovely. Okay.
Can I
Wonderful.
ask also
Sure.
2 questions?
Of course. Go ahead, Anita.
One is about prerequisites apart from the ones what you already mentioned, if there is any other than those. And the other question would be if there are contraindications or risks.
Thank you. So prerequisite, what exactly you mean? Like the ability to sit
No,
is
you
obviously
said
one of them.
Yeah, you said you described the posture, you described Kapalabhati, to be able to practice Kapalabhati in a detail already. Other than these, is there anything, or was just...
No, I wouldn't say there is anything else you would need to fulfill before. There is no initiation needed for this practice. I mean, it's really accessible to anyone. So apart from being able to sit, being able to recite the mantra, and to be able to do the intense breathing, whatever kind of intense breathing, if Bhastrika or Kapalabhati, that's basically all. And then you just have to sit still and observe.
And the same applies for the contraindications then? That the contraindications for Kapalabhati and Bhastrika, then you would not practice this, or you should not practice this sadhana if there is anything regarding those?
Well, if you have really serious cardiovascular issues, then probably it's not the best thing to do. Then you would need to find a different way, or a very subtle way of doing the Kapalabhati, so that you still fulfill the requirement that the energies need to get moving, but at the same time that you do not hurt your system.
Yeah,
But
thank you. Yeah, that's clear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you too.
Thank you.
So I think
there
we
any
have
more
arrived at the end. If there are no further questions, observations,
more.
concerns.
Just
one more?
One cheeky question.
Yes.
The music you were playing during the Kapalabhati, what is that?
That was a music by the son of Ivo Sedlacek, whom I mentioned in the beginning as one of the founders. His name is Pavel Sedlacek, and he plays the handpan. That's his main instrument. And if you Google him, You will find plenty of recordings available on YouTube. He does very, very nice pieces, sometimes for
Put his name into
relaxations.
the,
Yes, I will
yeah.
put it into the chat.
Perfect, thank
But
you.
I will also share the whole deck. I believe Luke will share it with all the participants, so no worries. Okay, I will stop sharing so that I can see the chat. Okay, I think it will recognize it even without the official version would be check. But I believe Google will find him even without the long A and the little thingy on the C. You can basically find even, I believe, even the mantras on the website of savitamusic.com, where you can nowadays even buy just in a way that you download, so no need to send CDs around the world. You just download it to your computer from there. You have all the recordings for by Ivo Sedlacek with his violin, and then different combinations. But especially I would like to recommend the transforming mantras and the healing mantras, which are like the most important if you would like to work on your transformation. Then those two albums are the best. Thank you. Thank you for asking this. I almost forgot to mention him, but it's very correct that we mentioned him in the end. So thank you very much, everybody, for participating.
Yeah, I would like to thank you too, Karin. And I need to make a kind of addenda to the presentation I did at the beginning of Karin, because I forgot to mention that Karin is actually the vice president of EUI and also the coordinator of the communication team. Sorry about that, I forgot. I also would like to remind everyone that you have the possibility to donate for this program online, even though it's free, but you can do some donation if you'd like. You just need to access the website and you will find on the top menu a donation button. It's very simple. I also would like to add that tomorrow Karin will be teaching this sadhana to the German speaker followers. And next week we will have 4 different sessions under this online program. So please check the website and the social media to keep the information updated. So thank you very much, Karin, once more, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Joanna, and thank you, everybody. Wishing you a wonderful rest of the evening and a wonderful time before Christmas. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Karin. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Karin. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Atul. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
It's very nice. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Karin. It was very, very nice and very